You can see from the cross table that Bobby Fischer did not do very well in this event, finishing in 20th place with an even score, 2 wins, 2 losses, 6 draws. Not the best results. Of these 10 games, we only have a record of 6. I don't know where the other 4 got off to, but we don't have the score sheets. In this particular game, this would have been the 10th round, the final round. Let me put this back up. As you can see, in round 4, Bobby draws with David Ames, who was unrated at the time. In round 5, he draws with Ken Stone, who was 1600. Round 6, he got a draw against John Briska, who was unrated at the time. Round 7, he loses to the great Victor Pupols, who was rated 2027 at the time. Round 8, he draws with Robert Blair, 1650 rating. And in round 9, a draw against John Winkleman, 1650 rating. Here, this is round 10 against Franklin Saksena. Saksena also from Fort Worth, as was Thomason. So that's interesting. His only 2 wins were against Fort Worth players. I guess he really hated Texans. All right, so this was July 24th, 1955, and we have E4, E5. Faulty Casey donating $25. Thank you, Faulty. Very generous. E4, E5, Knight F3, Knight C6. And again, in his younger years, Bobby not playing yet the Fray Lopez. He played an Italian game here. Very interesting. And a Juco Piano from Franklin. Bobby with the main line plays C3. And Franklin with Alexandre's Gambit. Have you ever heard of Alexandre's Gambit? Most people haven't. I could only find one game at the master level where Alexandre's Gambit was played, named for Aaron Alexander, who was born around 1765 and he lived until 1850. Aaron Alexander was a German, then French, then English chess player and writer. And so I started to say, I only know of one game at the master level where this Gambit has been played, and that was against world champion Dr. Max Erve, who defeated this Gambit soundly in Amsterdam, his opponent Henri Vinink. D4 right here. Now he takes D4, and I did not like, this was the same move that Erve played. And who knows if Bobby had seen this game or not. He was a prolific reader of chess, but I didn't care for the knight takes here. I much rather play C takes D4 than knight takes the D4. But knight takes it is, and then bishop takes, bishop takes. You know what? I think there was some notes on the Erve game. Well, anyway, pawn takes the bishop, and now we can play knight C3. Knight F6, and maybe taking here would be better. And E5, and white is already pushing the eval bar toward the top. Now, this is much stronger than pawn takes the pawn. When you play pawn takes the pawn and open your king up, you're asking for trouble. You're also allowing pawn to D5, a free move. And as you can see from the eval bar, that is going to be equal. Give it an equal sign. So E5, definitely the best move there. Knight E4, and after knight to C3, and I prefer castling. So for that reason, I give this a question mark. I understand the point, but it's not my favorite move. I'd prefer to castle first. Of course, queen H5 check is in the works as well. Now, I also give this knight trade a question mark. I find pawn d6 to be a better defense here. Even though queen h5 can be played here, g6 will repel the queen. Biggest problem, though, is I can infiltrate here. And it's hard to see a good way out of this for black. In fact, the eval bar bears this out. This is already decisive. King is out in the open and has no way to get castled over here. Well, knight takes the knight, pawn takes the knight. Of course, that can be taken en passant, and it is. Queen takes. The only alternative here is pawn takes, and then white should finally castle in that event, but black is lost in any case. Queen takes d6. White gets castled. Rook e1, ready to be played. And you really have got to get your rook out of bed. Saksena with knight a5. Not going to work. Really, even if you get your bishop out, you're not in very good shape either way. It's too late. It is too late. And these two bishops have you scissored. Where are you going to put your king? There's only one square to put it on. This is about to be played. Well, knight a5, the thing for black is that he has no good moves. Every move is a bad move at this juncture. Check. Knight goes right back to c6 and moves into a pin. And what do you do to a pinned piece? Ladles and jelly spoons? What is the principle of the pinned piece? You attack it again with another piece. Of course, you could just give check here if you wanted to, but d5. Really, it's Bobby's biggest problem in this game is deciding which winning move to play. He played d5. That's the most principled move. Add another attacker when you have a pin. But rook e1 check is awfully appealing, followed by the bishop to g5. Well, Saksena tried castling now. Castled right in line with Fischer's bishop. So check. King h8. Look at this piece relationship. Man, this is brutal. Queen f6, bishop takes rook, queen takes bishop. What is the principle of the advantage? When you have a material advantage, consolidate, trade down, simplify. So queen b4. And this back rank weakness makes it pretty much forced. You've got both of these pieces aiming up here, so if black avoids the trade, one of my rooks comes to e1 or d1 and is ready to attack on the back rank. So takes, and now king's rook to e1. Bishop b7 is the only move to prevent the rook from coming to the 8th. But now rook e7, rook c8, doubled his rooks, and he resigned here. The only way to avoid the back rank checkmate is to create space. And of course, we're going to do what when you're ahead? Consolidate. Simplify when you're ahead. And there are numbers of ways of winning from here, of course. You're up a full rook, aren't you? Not the least of which is rook e8. That bishop is trapped. Oh, gee. The bishop is trapped.